Dran, dran. That's the sound a phone makes in Italy, by the way. Dran, dran. Did you guys know that phones, like, they ring differently in different countries? No? You didn't know
No.
that?
Did not know that. Did not know that.
Wow. Look at that. Like, we're all just learning things here. That disturbing noise that I'm making personally myself, I don't have an Italian phone here, must mean that it's time for another drop-in from our friends over at the White Lotus in Sicily. This time we've got Aubrey Plaza and Will Sharp. And if I recall correctly, this is the bit where we discuss, how do I put this in like a family-friendly way? Let's just call it a surprise. Let's take a look. It's really interesting after you find the surprise in the hotel room. We'll just kind of leave it at that.
The surprise, that's a very cute way to put it. What a male thing to say. What a male way to phrase it.
How would you phrase it?
I don't know. Sorry, go on. What's your question?
All good. No, it's all good. So Mike, I'm curious how your reaction would differ from that of Harper as if you were put in that situation.
Oh my God, I have no idea. Honestly, I feel like what Mike wrote is probably like real close to what would really happen, because I think Harper is in shock in that moment. I think she doesn't know how to react. And I'm like that too. I mean, I have no idea, but I always surprise myself in times of, like in moments where something major is happening, or you would assume like, oh, I'd have a crazy reaction, or I would, do something crazy. Like I think I'm more like Harper, where I would be frozen. I'd be paralyzed. I'd be scared. I'd be, you know what I mean? Like my brain, it would be too overwhelming for me to know how to react or something. Like I would have to have a moment to even decide how I'm going to react. Cause I'm just not, I think I'm a little more, I internalize things on a very, very, very deep level. And so I related to Harper in that moment, I think.
Whew. Can't really tell from this clip, but shocker, Aubrey Plaza was like super, super awkward. Like no surprises there. Speaking of surprises, as editors, we watch a lot of content, and I mean a lot. We even watch things that aren't normally our cup of tea, just so that we can better inform you, our faithful viewers. Just make sure that you're getting the best of what's out there. So I want to know, what was one recent show that really surprised you? Your surprise hit of the year, if you will. And I'm going to go ahead and go first. It's So Help Me Todd. I know. What? Shocker. It's a broadcast show.
Yeah. Tell me more.
This one just kind of like, I don't even know how this came onto my radar. Like, one, the name is just weird. It's odd. But it's basically like if The Good Wife didn't take itself so seriously and kind of just was a little bit more campy and comical. So basically there's this young guy who I honestly can't remember the actor's name. So sorry, CBS and So Help Me Todd actors. But he is playing this doofy, like, son who he hasn't really got his life together, and then he ends up becoming a personal investigator for his mom, who is a lawyer, and shenanigans ensue. There are some episodes that are a little bit more interesting. Oh, Skylar Aston, there it goes.
All right, Brad.
Yes,
thanks.
thank you, Brad. Appreciate you, Brad. He's like our behind the scenes wizard. He just like does his crystal ball thing and he lets us know. Skylar Aston, thank you. He was in, oh my God, now I'm gonna, Zoe's.
Brad, what was he in?
No, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. And that's how I knew him. And he's an incredible singer. He's fantastic. Doesn't come up in this show. But that's, I think, probably what drew me to this, because I remember him and his character. And I thought, he's got good delivery. He's got good comedic timing. And he's just silly, a lovable doofus who has a great, and Pitch Perfect. Brad with the crystal ball, really just nailing it. It's a fun show. It's super easy. Like I said, if you're a fan of The Good Wife, but you want something a little less severe, like you don't want to feel horrible about your life afterwards, then watch So Help Me Todd. You know, you can watch some episodes or whodunits. Some of them are a little bit more, you know, just silly, campy fun. And this guy just kind of fumbles his way around being a private investigator. So, like, I guess it's Inspector Gadget and The Good Wife Had a Baby. It would be So Help Me Todd. There you go. And that, you know, that for me, just, it resonates. It was just fun to watch. It was easy. It wasn't like, I need easy watches these days because, you know, sometimes it's exhausting. You're watching a show and you're like, I'm too emotionally invested in this stuff. I want something I can turn on and just be like, okay, woosah. You know what I'm saying? All right.
I feel that.
Audrey, I'm curious. What's your TV confession?
So this show that I just started watching, I watched the first 3 episodes. It is called Fleischmann Is in Trouble. I admittedly, so Scott mentioned like it is our job to be on the pulse of all things television and know all the things. Like this kind of snuck up on me. Like I didn't really know much about it going into it. The reason I decided to watch it was because the cast is like very compelling to me. So as you can see from this key art, Claire Danes and Lizzie Kaplan, who I love both of them. I think they're both super talented. And Jesse Eisenberg is the main man in this show. And I feel like he's been missing from the scene for a long time. He was like so big a few years back and then kind of disappeared. And now he's back in the show. So it's an FX show. It is actually based on a book. I did not read the book. So if you read the book and love the book, do not come at me. Like I'm going into this totally blind as if it's just a television show. But basically Claire Danes and Jesse Eisenberg were married. They then get divorced. And this is kind of the first 3 episodes are told from his side. So being now single again, he's the dad of 2 kids. He's trying to juggle, he's a doctor. He's trying to juggle being a parent, a single parent now, or a co-parent with his job. So it's kind of interesting from like the dad's side. I feel like a lot of shows when like divorce happens, you see like a lot of like the mom, like single mom angle. So this is a little bit different, which was interesting to me. And then it also goes back to, he has these 2 friends that he like was best friends with in college. Lizzie Kaplan is one of them, which I knew going into it. But then the surprise for me was that Adam Brody of the OC fame, Seth Cohen, is the other friend. And I loved him so much and still do. So that was like, you know, a surprise in a surprise for me. So it's an interesting show, right? So it's about like past friendships, current like situational changes with relationships, parenting, like jobs. It's doing a lot of things and it's set in New York City. And there's flashbacks to like the 90s and then current day. It's very interesting and like unlike a lot of shows that I think are going on right now. So it was surprising to me and like a surprise hit. It's not like earth shattering. It's not like the most amazing thing I've ever watched, but I really like it. And I feel like not a ton of people are talking about it. So I'm here to tell you it's worth a watch.
Absolutely. And you got to remember the name first.
Yes. Scott and I were joking about the name of the show, even though like, again, I watched all the episodes that are available right now and really enjoy it. We were like, there's something about Fleischmann.
We went down quite the spiral. Something's wrong with We got Fleischmann in all of it. So like, you know, just say Fleischmann into your voice or mode. It might come up.
See what happens.
Kwam, what is your surprise hit of the year?
Honestly, this show isn't really a show that flew under the radar. It got a lot of promotion, but I was surprised with how good it was. And it's Bel-Air on Peacock. So as y'all might know, I'm a huge Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan of the original series from the 90s. I like to think that I based my personality off of Will Smith in that show. That was like my idol growing up, along with Allen Iverson. And I had really high expectations for this show. I had really high expectations. I didn't know what to expect. The first trailer I saw had me feeling a little skeptical. And then when I watched the show, I was just taken back by how great it was. I absolutely loved it. I love that it didn't follow the same exact plot as the original show, but it definitely still follows the same plot beats. But it puts a new spin on everything. It has its own fresh feel and just experience, and the cast just works so well with each other. Everyone was just so much fun. I got to interview Ali Schulten and Coco Jones, who were just amazing. And I can't say enough great things about this show. It was just so much fun. It was so refreshing compared to all the other like reboots and remakes that we see in today. No shots at the Marvel universe or anything like that. But Bel-Air is just it does a remake properly. It does it. It's a reimagining.
Shots fired, Kwame.
No shots fired. No shots fired. Only straights. But yeah, Bel-Air was amazing. It's what a remake should be. It's a reimagining. It's a reimagining of the original series, and I just love it. I just loved it so much. I was so surprised. I loved it that much too. So that is easily my surprise.
Yeah, I have to ask you a very pointed question about the show, and it's not a spoiler because it's been out for like a long time, I think. How did you feel about them making Carlton like a bad guy?
So it's funny when
or like a troubled guy, or just so different than how he was in the original.
But it really wasn't. So a lot of people, I think, when you think of Fresh Prince, we think about the later seasons or even like the middle of the show, where Will and Carlton kind of become like really close together, and they're not as adversarial. But if you watch the first season of the Fresh Prince, they're actually like mortal enemies, and they go tick for tack with each other. And I think that
mortal enemies.
Mortal enemies, they were. And I think this show, it's a little bit more heavier. But if you didn't watch the original show, if you didn't just like watch the first season, you wouldn't get that. But then you go back to the first season, you're like, oh no, they were definitely beefing back then too. And so I think they did that really well, and they played it up really well. And honestly, I liked that they built it up so much for them to be mortal enemies, because by the end of the season, when they're you see Carlton really caring for Will and wanting to know where he's at, and not to spoil anything again, but you really feel it, and you feel that character journey is earned. And I'm all about character development and characters progressing throughout the show.
Loves himself. Yeah, Kwame loves some character development.
I do, and they did.
Okay, well that's a good intel.
Amazing. Yes, it's so go back and watch the first season of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and you'll see that Will and Carlton were beefing from the jump.
Okay, that's good homework, because I did not remember that.
That's really good intel. Well done. All right. Well, you can watch Kwam's interview with the Bel-Air cast, and you can watch all of our sleeper hits in the What to Watch live menu. So just say What to Watch into your voice remote and check it out. There's all sorts of goodies in there. Some hidden gems, some not so hidden gems. We got some, just giant rocks of great entertainment just hanging out, chilling there. Other ones, just tucked away, a little bit harder to find, but we'll have them there for you. Just go take a look. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.